Good morning, everybody. I'm Amy Gutmann, and I chair the Presidential Commission for the Study of Bioethical Issues, and I also am the president of the University of Pennsylvania, and I'm very pleased to welcome you all here in the new Henry Jordan Medical Education Center at our Perelman School of Medicine. I'm also pleased, on behalf of myself and our Vice Chair, Jim Wagner, to welcome you to our 21st meeting of the Bioethics Commission. I want to begin by noting the presence of our designated federal official, Bioethics Commission Executive Director, Lisa M. Lee. Lisa, please stand so we can recognize you. Lisa makes this meeting official. So thank you for doing that, along with all the other things she does to lead the Bioethics Commission, and I thank you for that as well, Lisa. I would also like Bioethics Commission members to introduce themselves, and I'm going to begin by asking Christine to begin.
Good morning. I'm Christine Grady from the NIH Clinical Center Department of Bioethics.
Hello, I'm Stephen Hauser from the University of California, San Francisco, Neurology.
Hi, I'm Barbara Atkinson. I'm the Planning Dean for a new School of Medicine at UNLV in Las Vegas.
And I'm Jim Wagner from Emory University.
I'm Nelson Michael from the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research.
Hi, I'm Anita Allen, Vice Provost for Faculty and Professor of Philosophy and Law here at Penn.
Nita Farahani from Duke University.
And we're expecting Dan Slamacy to arrive shortly. He is from the University of Chicago. So this meeting, we're going to continue our work on deliberation and bioethics education. And this, in some sense, is a capstone report of the Commission. We're focusing on the symbiotic relationship of two twin pillars of public bioethics, education on the one hand and deliberation on the other. We have not only come to our work with these two pillars, building on these two pillars, but we've also found through our work how important it is that education support deliberation and deliberation support education. It's a virtuous circle. We've also want to focus on some of the challenges, and there are many challenges, of having better public education of bioethics and better public deliberation of bioethics in the context that we find ourselves in the 21st century. Not only, but in our society. We'll hear from various speakers about some of those challenges. But what we're really focused on in our discussions are the value of engaging the public in bioethics and how best to integrate public dialogue and deliberation into bioethics decision-making and education. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to explain how we will take public comments. There are comment cards. They were at registration, but all of our staff members, hold up your hands, have comment cards. Anyone who'd like to ask a question or make a comment, just ask for a card, write it down. We'll pass it up to the front, and either Jim or I will read the question, and we will address it. If we, by any chance, don't have time for that, we will enter those questions into the public comments, and we will get back to you about them. We ask that you write these down so we have them as part of the public record, and it's worked quite well. So we really do, we like to get your comments, so please don't hesitate to do that. And I'm going to ask Jim Wagner to say a few words before we start our first session.
Thank you, Amy. You know, it's been observed that there are several matters important in society that are too important to be left to professionals, and I think ethics in general and bioethics in particular is one of those, and I think that's why we can be excited that this area of democratic deliberation and education as a means to engage and learn from the public may be one of the most, the results of this may be one of the most, among the most enduring of activities that this particular commission contributes toward. It's a pleasure to be convened again a 21st time with colleagues and now friends, also with the staff that so ably support what we do, the experts that are here ready to share their insights and testimony, and with representatives of the public to whom we're ultimately accountable. Welcome to everyone. It's good to be with you.
Thank you, Jim. I'd just like to ask everybody on the commission and in the audience as well to, before I do something that's more solemn, this is in the spirit of education deliberation. Just reflect in your minds, and at some point we will discuss this, the difference in reaction to the use of vaccines in our society and the use of antibiotics. We issued a report on how to and whether and how to test vaccines in the case of anthrax on children, but it's well known that vaccines in our society are underutilized after they've been determined to be safe and effective. It's also well known that antibiotics are overused in our society, and both of those examples have enormous consequences, negative consequences for individuals and societies now and moving forward. The underuse of vaccines costs thousands and thousands of lives. The inability to, if you want to go back to the institutional issue, the inability to fund the testing of vaccines in a proactive way costs thousands and thousands of lives. The overuse of antibiotics also is extremely threatening to the ability to treat diseases that need antibiotics, and they're overused by, by huge proportions. So if you think about how you can deal with that, I know of no other way of dealing with that than having more effective education and more effective deliberation about them. I just throw that out as one example that is just extremely important for the future of health and public health in our society. And we can talk about how challenging, and it raises, if you think about the actual examples, it raises how challenging it is and how much fear on the one hand of vaccines and desire on the other hand of popping antibiotics, popping pills, what the consequences are, and we have to come to grips with that.